Okay, there we go. Just make sure everything on my back end is working just fine. I think, yep, there we go. Okay, audio's good, video's good, excellent. Okay. Just gonna, sorry about that, everybody. Just make sure this is pulled up there. Okie dokie. Heck yeah. Alright, so today is a very big day for me personally. I'm actually very excited. So today is my 1-year anniversary with my beautiful, lovely wife. We finally, 1 year ago today, we actually got married, which is exciting. I'm super, super happy. We're going to do something super special tonight. We're going to go out and have dinner. I'm going to take her to the place we went to for our first date and hopefully have a wonderful evening with my wife. So, but I wanted to do a little bit and do some streaming today, and I thought what better way to celebrate than to let you guys decide what we do today. We could do more painting. I still have my knights to finish up, of course, but I also have plenty of stuff to build. I have some new toys my wife let me purchase, ill-advisedly so. So I've got some 40K stuff we can build. We have AOS stuff we can build. I can paint some 40K or AOS stuff, or I even have my blackout models. So I thought I'd let you guys kind of decide what we do today. So let me know what you guys think. If you guys have any ideas what you want to do, I've got a poll going in the chat. I'm going to bump that up just a little bit. There we go. I think audio-wise everything's okay. At least on my end it's showing everything's fine. So, if I need to turn that down, you guys let me know. But yeah, 1-year anniversary today with my wife. I'm so happy. Like I said, I'm going to take her out to dinner tonight. We're going to go to the place we went to for our first date. I got her some flowers for when she gets home. Vote in. That's funny. Okay, fine. I do have Votan. I don't have anything primed, but I guess I could prime them on stream. There are worse things to do today. Alright. Well, hi Josh. Good to see that you're still here. I'm glad to see you, bud. How's work going? Hopefully well. Well, just in case, I'm going to go ahead and get some toys. Set that there for now. Just gonna pull some stuff aside here. I gotta readjust my desktop ever so slightly. That's better. It's work. Well, you know, I guess there are worse things. Alright, let's get some stuff here. Got some goodies. Brand new X-Acto knife. Not the knife itself, just the blade. Brand new Tamiya. Go ahead and get my my vacuum out. That'll be nice. Let's see what we got here so far. Just the one vote. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate it. Painting's actually, I do have some stuff I need to work on. I've already showed this off, but I've got my carapace here for my Knight Castellan I've been working on. I need to go ahead and start weathering it and everything, which will be nice. Go ahead and start grinding it up. Stolas, what have you done to celebrate the ethereal cast? Tau followed lover. Leave me alone, Stolas. Let's not start with that shitty Tau nonsense. Not today. Not today on my anniversary. How dare you? My lovely wife just got home. So let me go see my wife real quick. I will be right back. I promise. Just gonna go say hi real quick.
back on.
Alright, sorry about that, everybody. Okay. Votan, man, come on. Listen, Votan are great. I love it. I love Votan. Space dwarves are cool. Dwarves are cool. I'm a huge dwarf guy. Stolas, I know you're a Chaos fan, but don't tell me you're a dirty knife ear lover. Alright? I can't have an elf lover and a Chaos lover in my chat. That's too much. That is way too much. I did tell everyone. That's the whole point of the stream today. Celebrating our 1-year anniversary by having everyone vote on what I do today. Indeed. While you go take a nap, my love. Yeah. Spend me into debt. Alright. Well, we could do some painting. It's not a terrible idea. I've got all my paints and stuff in here. I've actually spent most of my day reorganizing my craft room. But I wanted to show off some new toys my wife let me ill-advisedly purchase because she loves me very much. And wants to feed my addiction because she has her own addictions I feed into. Which is usually starting random hobbies that we never go back to. So first things first that I'm really excited for, which actually my wife and I are going to be doing tonight because she already promised me. A little washed out from the light there. We'll just move that off to the side. I got a spearhead box. Big ass AOS spearhead box. Drukari on paper or Smash? Maybe. Forgot I put that in there. But yes, I've got this nice, lovely collection of spearhead box. My wife is going to build the rat people because she thinks they're cute. I don't know what it is with women and disgusting things that they find adorable. It explains why pugs exist. But anyway, got this nice spearhead box. I will be building the Cities of Sigmar. I'm very excited for. And then, of course, the other thing my wife let me purchase, which is part of this ill-advised package. Darling, on that next to bottom shelf underneath the white box, if you would please. Get that slid off to the side here. My second child.
Who's your first?
The Porphyrion. The Porphyrion's my first child, honey. Checks out. I've got a cog fort. I'm super excited for this as well. This is one of the more gorgeous modern models I've seen GW come out with. I am so stoked to actually get to dig into this kit. I've looked around in it a little bit. You can build it in 4 different variants, which I've kind of been discussing which one I want to build it into. But I do have to say, one, the decal sheet alone, the fact that you can actually pick a name and use it as an actual name on the side of your cog fort, pretty cool, not gonna lie to you. But the size of this base, good God, it looks like a tiny plate. This is bigger than any knight base I have, by miles. I don't know how to feel about it. So, but yeah, I know Stola's cog fort. It's so, and I've looked at the detail on it, dude. This camera lighting's not going to do it any justice, but it's a gorgeous wood grain all across the top here. Let me tell you, I cannot wait to dig into this. I have ideas for a video I want to do. I would actually take footage from the stream and when I build it and use that in the video I want to do. I am so excited for this thing. I have got ideas on how to paint it. I can't wait to dig into it. But I'm treating it like a very expensive steak dinner. I want to use this for a special occasion. But I am so stoked. And I did some math between the two of these, depending on which version I build for the cog fort, is about 1,000 points worth of City of Sigmar models. So I'm actually about halfway there to what I need for a full-on army. So I've been working on what I want to do for a full 2,000 points. But that's just that. When it comes to the rest, I still have my Knight Lancer I need to build. I have my Knight Atropos I need to build. And then, of course, painting. I have to paint. Which reminds me, actually, let me just grab it here. So, last stream, we did oil washing on 2 nights, or 1 night, and then we did some painting. So I've been working on my knights here quite a bit, I'd say. That's a little bit better. Have a little bit more lighting in here. Well, kind of. Kind of. You know what? I don't think I need that one. Anyway, the important part here is I was looking at the frames for the knights as I'd done, and the oil wash, I think, came out pretty good on this one. The yellow looks really, really good. There's only a couple of spots I'm missing here. What on earth is happening here? Thank you, phone. Anyway, there's a couple spots in the yellow that I haven't quite gotten perfected yet. I need to go in here and touch up here on the chest plate a little bit. You can't... the pink obviously needs to do some painting today. The one thing I'm really excited about is the Knight Errant. I think came out really, really well. I mean, it's very subtle tinting in many, many spots. Here, you can kind of see, like, the brown where it's, like, rusted and grimy on the sword. I think it came out really, really good. There's a few spots where I realized I messed up, especially back here on the cannon, thermal cannon. There's a pure black spot there. There's more brown back here than I wanted, so I didn't do a great job cleaning it up. But I think the oil wash came out really, really well. And plus, I think the stance is just kick-ass. I mean, this is going to look so good on the tabletop once it's painted. So, yeah, we could do those. We could do some building. And, of course, if I do any more painting, I'll need to set up my phone for a camera for the spray booth for the airbrushing. I could set up to do some weathering on my Castellan armor plates here. A little harder to see. I'd have to move the camera. But I need to get some texture sponge and paint this up. I'd have to prepare my wet palette, but I'm excited to do so either way. Just trying to do a little experimenting here. So, I have a buddy with really bad eyesight. He fell down a well. I guess he didn't see that well. It's so stupid. Why did that make me laugh? Alright. We seem pretty dead set on Votann. Well, Josh, you may just get your wish, if that's the case. I don't have anything primed, and I don't have any airbrush primer. That's the only downside here. I'd have to spray, and if I do that in the house, the whole house will smell like paint, and I'll get in trouble. So, I gotta think about what's the best way to do that. Also, I'm gonna move this light real quick. I'm gonna hit the camera in the process of doing so, but that's okay. Who needs to have a stable stream? Definitely not me. Okay. Tell you what. Okay, if we're gonna do Votann, I have some primer stuff I could use. We could try that. But if we're gonna paint, I think I'm gonna start off easy and just do whatever I can paint in a wet palette. I won't think I'll bust out the airbrush just yet. Actually, now that I think about it, I might... You know what? Let's do it. Let's bust out the airbrush. Alright. Well, with one vote, we'll go ahead and end the poll. We will do painting. Alright, we'll bust out the airbrush here. We're going to get some colors going. Now, I don't need to do too much to get this to work. Get some brushes. Got my airbrush thinners here. I'm also going to need mineral spirit. My definitely not stolen can lids for oil washes, and my white oil paint and a pipette. Okay, so if we're gonna do this, let's do this. I will bust out some Votann models, I promise. I may not bust them out today, But I will be busting out Votan models, because I do have a bunch, and I want to go ahead and finish up my Votan army. I've got most of my knights figured out, which is good. Well, it might help, actually, if I don't have air going through the hose for this. Okay, so we'll do some painting. Get that put away. Okay, let's prep my models. Just gonna get whatever dust may have accumulated on the tops here cleaned off, because I want to do some experimenting with my Knight Errant on a different color scheme. In my lore, the color scheme for my Errant is actually from a completely separate house than my Preceptor, which is fine. So we'll just do some light dusting here. Okay. First things first. Let's get a little mineral spirit. Let's get a little white oil paint. Not a lot. I don't need much. If I need more, I can always add more paint. Las cutter. It sounds like plausible. Love story. Absolutely. Love story I want. That's the Romeo and Juliet. Married my wife. I'm everyone. My scepter a little bit. Don't mixing up white oil paint, but consistency. I think we're... I will have a... Lady Valorant Games. I picked up the new Deathwatch Armageddon box plus watch. That's awesome, though. By the way, it just ran like I think it's awesome that you've got both those boxes. Okay, you said almost bought your first big Chaos Night, but the Deathwatch box is limited. You're not wrong. I actually, at the beginning of the stream, I showed off. I got my wife. Voodoo Magic on her. Let me purchase the City of Ash Spearhead box. So I've got the limited edition Cities of Sigmar Spearhead bundle. Along with the Skaven and the Terrain, and I bought a Cog Fort. So I've got both. Do Cities of Sigmar stuff, but my best friend in the world wants me to paint, and the only models I have really prepped for painting right now are my Imperial Knights. Although he keeps voting me to do Votan. You're adding the watch to your Space Marines. Well, that's awesome. Listen, Space Marines are cool. And the main characters of 40k. Let's just be realistic here. Okay, I'm pretty sure that's most of what I need out of that. Let's go ahead and get some more paints here. I'll need to set up my phone as a camera for OBS. So let's do that. At some point, my headset is going to say low battery, and I apologize. It's not holding a charge like it used to. Uh-huh, okay. Why are we not connecting? We'll get that set up here in a second. Okay, let's get the spray booth set up. I've got my compressor going for the airbrush. My apologies for the noise, ladies and gentlemen. All while my headset tries to fall off my head while doing so. Haha. Okay. You're the one who voted too. Oh, that's good to know, Stolas. You'll never... Your internet dropped out, so you'll never know about Tech Priest Love. That's what you get for offending the Omnissiah by suggesting such human emotion as love. Although I did say that's the Romeo and Juliet story I need in my life. But I don't know. I don't know if that's even a thing or not. That's the sad part. I think it should be. It feels like it should be, doesn't it? Hello, Miri. Yes, airbrush time indeed. I know. Hello, John. You're very excited. You have no idea why. That's lovely. cat. All right. So, let's just, for the sake of argument here, let's go ahead and just top this off real quick. Get it curing ever so slightly. And then we'll go ahead and get some paint on here. Now, I kind of want to go for a blue, but this is a las cutter, not a plasma weapon, so I'm kind of torn. Let's see. Ooh, Lady Valor says, my Calidus Assassin is added as well. Ooh, that's really nice. Calidus Assassins are not to be messed with in lore. And Luna's back says, hey, I've been assembling a new Defiler. Well, god damn. You and everyone else, Luna, who's playing Chaos right now, because everybody's loving the Defiler. Everybody. It is a ubiquitous kit. But I hope you're enjoying it. You have a particular configuration you're going for, a particular Chaos God you want to dedicate it to, or a Legion you want to dedicate it to. You strike me as a Nurgle kind of gal. So I want to go with Nurgle, but I could be wrong. Okay, and then I want this to glow like it's red hot. So we're just gonna trying to get it to flow off my brush properly, but it may not have enough spirit for that. I may have too big of a brush, actually. Maybe my part of my problem here. Stay. Let's see here. It looks so good, and you've already done it as Nurgle. Nice. So, is it dedicated to the Legion, or is it just like a Nurgle Defiler? Just a generic one? Because, I'm not going to lie, the Death Guard Defilers do be looking pretty good. I don't know what that says about me. Supposed to be an Imperium guy, but I have to be honest with you. Death Guard has an aesthetic that I just really like. Now, if I had to go Chaos, though, and I've said it before, I'll say it again, I would do the Red Corsairs. Because they're not necessarily God-aligned. That's what I love about them. You do have the previous one, too. So the old Spider Leg one? Nice. Everyone likes to say that kit looks pretty goofy, and I have to admit, there's a level of goof to it, for sure. For sure. But I love it. I don't know. There's something about there's character in those older models, you know? Let's get that in there. Okay. Chaos Unbound yourself. You see, I got a lot of Chaos people in my community. I don't know that I like that. As an Imperial simp, you are all heretics, and may the God Emperor have mercy on your soul. At least it's not Tau. I'll say that. Although I'm sure Final, Josh, and Stolas will let everyone know about my supposed love for Tau, which are harmful and hurtful allegations, by the way. Harmful and hurtful allegations. I will not be made a fool of, ladies and gentlemen. Just the new one is round and the old one just is a box. That's, that's fair. I really, really like the old kit. It's got a lot of character to it. You don't see that level of character much anymore in the newer stuff. There they are. I just need to get some of these real quick. Just gonna tidy up some of that glow I want to go for before I continue. I've already got... Nice. Well, it's meant for painting. That's why I got it. Let's see if we can clean this up just a little bit here. The las cutter got a little bit more than I wanted. Same thing here on the tip. Okay. And then, of course, we're going to clean up the back here ever so slightly. I really want that to come through. Okay. Admit I'm a Taoist? How dare you, Lady Valrith? How dare you? I am an Imperial simp. The God Emperor. If he had an OnlyFans, I'd be subscribed. Alright? The Black Legion with a heavy roll towards the engines. You know what? That's fair. I really like the Red Corsairs, but it's the lack of the worship of the Chaos Gods that I think really like jimmies my jams, really flims my flams, if you will. Get that in there. Miri says I like arson. Miri, are you okay? Who hurt you? Or is that just a German thing? By the way, I know I have, and I know Josh has, but has anyone else seen that new trailer for 11th edition, where the Emperor turns a little bit, fidgets, if you will, to look at the viewer? I don't know, guys. That's a pretty big deal, alright? A lot of Chaos peeps have been calling him the Corpse Emperor, but corpses don't turn their head now, do they? Lady Valrith, Black Legion goes heavy. You know, the problem is, I actually heard a prediction, and I hope it happens just so I can hear Stolas scream at the top of his lungs. But I heard a prediction that Abaddon may be getting despoiled himself in this new edition, in favor for Huron Blackheart. I don't know. It could happen. And if it does, goodbye, War Master. Hello, taxation is theft. I thought we were half meme talking of what we like. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair, Miri. I'll give you that. Yeah, that is so free-waking cool. Are we talking about your Zombie King? We are, in fact, talking about my Zombie King. You know, the one who is still alive on the Golden Throne and is gonna put chaos in its place when he comes back. Puts the smackdown on him like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You know the Grey Knights need to follow orders. Yeah, but the problem is, they're Grey Knights. What are they going to do against an army of Custodies? I'm just saying. They're not going to do shit. Okay, clean that up just a little bit. There we go. Watch the War Master make Huron walk the plank. I don't think so, buddy boy. I don't think so at all. But that's okay. I would hate to see Abaddon go, because Abaddon ultimately is a pretty neato little character, and also he is a tie to the heresy, and as a character I think he's just a cool guy. Just a cool little guy. But the order is there. You're not wrong, Luna. I just don't think they're going to do it. Oh, he said 13 tries, but still failed. Remember that the Alpha Legion is still loyalist. You're damn right they are. God bless my Alpha Legion boys. They're making me so proud. Okay, alright. I need to make sure this is going to connect. And if it is not connecting, why are we not connecting? That is my question. Abadaddy still works. Oh, Jesus, that is some cursed imagery right there. Abadaddy. That is so... Oh, that's so gross. I love it. Don't get me wrong. But that is so gross. It makes my skin crawl. Just... Ugh. Okay, we're going to lose camera here for just a second. I apologize. I'm trying to get this to work. Ah, there it goes. Haha. Alright, we're going to go back to Hobby Cam now. Okay, my apologies about that. I'm trying to get this dang thing to connect properly. Alright. We're going to get this connected here. think that'll work. Okay. All right, there we go. I had to get the camera set up. My apologies on that. But if we're going to do some of this painting today, and I'd love to do some of this painting today, I need to make sure I am able to actually see what I'm doing. Okay, so we're going to do some glowing effects today. But I have got to go grab something to make that happen. So give me 2 seconds. Oh, actually, let me get caught up here on... let me get caught up on chat here. Stola says 13 times failing upward is more accurate, only because Abaddon has the benefit and the superpower of retcons, my friend. Don't remember the 12th Crusade was a horrible failure before they retconned everything. Lady Valorant says, that's why the tries to take the throne and remove the false emperor off the throne. Yep, that's fair, except you misspelled one true god emperor. All right, that's... Work on that, okay? Work on that for me. All right, give me 1 second, everybody. I got to grab something from my craft room across the house. I will be right back. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, I have returned. I'm back. What a hard cut. My transitions are busted. That's okay. All right, where are we at here? Let's see. Time to take over. Thank you, Luna. Stola says, if it's retcon, it sounds like the new Truth 12th Crusade was a mass success. Lady Valor says, I'm painting up my Obliterators and Venom Crawler. Nice. Luna says, I have those too. Lady Valor says, has anyone seen Spider Noir on Prime Video yet? No, I am vaguely interested. I like Nicolas Cage. Seeing him digitally de-aged, however, was a little jarring, I'm not going to lie to you. Not bad, just jarring. The skin tone I'm using is, and then you kind of cut out there, so I don't know what your skin tone is. Now I'm waiting with bated breath. I've got to fucking know. What skin tone are you using? Alright. Before I continue, Pallid Witch Flesh and then shade of Drakenhof Nightshade. Ooh, now that would make a great combination of color. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, let's put a little more of this in here. What I'm going to do, I need to keep my brushes, but I'm going to just wash them off real quick. Just so I don't have to worry about them getting stained here. Really thin out that white. Okay. Okay. Yeah, okay. You know what? That's fair. GW does a lot of shenanigans. I mean, listen, all I know is Abaddon's days are numbered the second Lehman Russ comes back. The greatest of all Primarchs. I have people in here who will tell me that's different, but there are other greatest Primarchs, but no, it's Lehman Russ. Till the end of my days, Lehman Russ is the greatest Primarch. You can be wrong. It's okay. Okay. You'd think I'd be a little bit more prepared if I was doing a painting stream today, but that's okay. I kind of threw everything together half-minute. Well, last minute, not half-minute. That's not a saying. I guess it is now. But that's all right. Get that cleaned off here. And that's one of the things that I think is, like, really difficult to grasp when I started doing this, is, like, you need to rinse your brushes very thoroughly when you're doing oil washes. And the only real good way of doing that is a bunch of mineral spirits. But that's okay. I've got plenty. Just gotta make sure all of that white has gotten out of my brush. That will come out of my brush with just the mineral spirit. And then I don't know if this is bad. I've got synthetic brushes, not true brushes, like true hair brushes. And I just have a little bit of Dawn's dish soap and water here. And I know you're not supposed to go past the, what is it, the phellum. When it comes to that, I'm not overly worried. These weren't that expensive of brushes, so I'm not going to be too worried about it. But proper brush soap is something that is on my list of things that I need to get. Now, something I've never done before, and something I'm a little nervous to try, is part of the great success of doing any kind of OSL work through airbrush is to use a white ink. I've never run ink through an airbrush. Actually. Before I continue, I need to... Okay, cool. Okay, so I don't need to worry about thinning it. That's good, because I have no idea how to even do that if I were to do so. Okay, let's see here. Lady Valred says, it looks a little undead and related to the skin tone. That sounds awesome. Stola's Mortarian is going to give Lehman Ebola. One, that is the most on-brand thing I've heard you say in a long time, Stolas, and two... that legitimately, that's funny. You should be proud of that one. Lady Valor says Horus is the greatest, and his body turned into a demon Primarch engine, and his soul has been destroyed, but the body still exists. Lady Valor says Squidward also has new brushes for sale here in the States. That's awesome. Eons of Battle, Jay uses ink in his airbrush. Yes, I've just never used ink before. I'm actually trying OSL like this for the first time in my life. I'm very excited to give it a try. I've never done so before, so I don't know what I'm in for. But I needed to know if I needed to thin it out first or not, so that's what I went to go look up real quick. He uses white ink quite a bit. A lot of people do. The recipes that I've seen for great OSL from people like El Mini Turista is they use white oil paint and mineral spirit first into the cracks of the model itself. That's what I've done here with the Las Cutter, which I'm actually very excited for. And then, of course, it's what they do is they use white ink to create the glow effect on the outside. So what we're going to do is we're going to do that. I have never done this before, so I'm actually going to try using some of my fluorescent colors, which I'm actually very excited to give it a shot. And I want to do blue, I think, for this one. But first, I've got to pull open all of my colors and find a nice, deep, dark blue first and kind of build the color gradient up from there. Actually, yeah, okay, we'll just do that. Oh, shit. That might be a problem for me. I just realized my PSI on my compressor is way too freaking high. Yeah. I was sitting at like 60 PSI. We don't need to be that high. Me personally, I like to sit at about a 15 if I can help it. Doesn't need to be super, super high. Anywhere between 15 and 20 is where I like to sit. So I had to fix that. My apologies. Okay, so first things first, I need to pick a blue. I need to pick a deep, dark blue to get started. And then from there, we'll be good. So I'm going to look through here. I've got my neon blue will be perfect for what I want. I agree. I think it'll be really, really nice. Sorry, I'm a little discombobulated because I'm a little out of sorts, unfortunately. 60 PSI seems like a little much. Yeah, I agree. I was actually using my compressor earlier to clean out, not with my airbrush attached. I was using it to clean up my PC, which is why it was so high. Is it just greens in here? I think it's just greens in here. Oh, no, it's greens and purples. Okay. Wyvern green. Sorcerer's Cloak. Okay, cool. I love the Two Thin Coats range. By the way, by Duncan Rhodes, I don't love the corporate side of GW very much at all. And what I try to do is, whatever I can, I'll get away from the corporate side. I love the hobby side. You can really tell with GW that there is a part of them that just really, really, really likes the hobby and really cares about the people involved, and they truly love Warhammer. And then you have the corporate side. I try to get the corporate side as much as I can, and they really screwed over Duncan Rhodes, who created his own paint range as a direct competitor to Citadel. So I support them as much as I can. The video and neon blue will give you the right look. Yeah, that's fair. I just want to have, are these all my washes? These are all my washes. I need to remember, this one is Orc Flesh Wash. I remember that box. I just want a little bit of a darker blue to set the base tone first, and then kind of go in and build layers. I am not only fat, but I am also a chef, so most of my analogies come in with food. But like one chef I follow on YouTube who's always said, you can build a good sandwich, or you can build a good recipe for anything. But if you elevate every individual step, the product is that much better, right? So like you can make a sandwich like a BLT, but if you make a BLT with garlic toast and you use candied bacon and all, you marinate a tomato, it'll make it that much that much better than just a regular BLT. And again, part of that is I'm just fat and I love food. Obviously, I'm fat, but also I'm a little bit of a chef. So most of my analogies relate back to food. Ah, there they are. There's my blues. I knew I was looking for them somewhere here. Yeah. Okay, cool. We're going to run marine blue through here first. So, here we go. Okay, let's get caught up on the chat while I was doing that. Chaos, Space Marine, dating game, and a graphic novel style could go really hard. Why has no one made that? Because that's a very niche thing. But you know what? I agree with you, Stolas. That would be really cool. Like, you know, you're a Chaos Space Marine, but you're being courted by, like, you're courting the different Chaos gods. That would be awesome. Genuinely. I'm not even joking. But it is really niche. I think you'd sell, like, 12 copies. But that is cool. I agree with you. Let's go with Marine Blue. Let's say here. Lady Valred says, I've been buying Tooth and Coats paints from a store near me. Oh, and also Lady Val says, I'm a semi-retired chef myself. Yeah, I got into culinary 10 years ago. Oh, come on. There we go. There we go. That's better. I got into culinary school about 10 years ago. I've always kind of grown up around food and cooking. I learned how to make scrambled eggs when I was a kid, and I never really looked back. And so scrambled eggs is one of the things like I made a lot as a kid. And then by the time I was 11 or 12, I started cooking spaghetti for the whole family. I would cook. My mom would let me cook with her, and then she would just let me cook it. So I would cook dinner, and it was a lot of fun. And then one year for Christmas, I asked for a sausage grinder, or meat grinder, and sausage stuffing attachment for the KitchenAid, and I made sausages for Christmas. Made them from scratch for a Christmas brunch that we always did on my mom's side of the family, and everyone there really loved them. I made 5 pounds, and they were all gone by the end, which is awesome. And my dad was like really talking to me about like maybe I should go to culinary school, you know, find something there I could do. Got a little bit of blue splatter on me. Okay, got that really nice and mixed up. Let's get my Castellan stuff out of the way. Have an armiger, everybody. I need more of those, actually. I need my next major kits. I've already planned out my next major purchases because I had a really funny idea for a Night Lance I want to do, which we'll talk about here in a little bit, I'm sure. Let's see. Stola says, I was thinking I was going to a new Japanese high school with Chaos Space Marines, but your idea is really good, too. See, I hate it when we get in sync like that, Stolas, because you're trying to slowly convince me to be a Chaos Goblin, and I can't do it. I can't do it. I'm too much of a simp for my Imperium. Let's get my pieces here. I am probably going to need the stand here. I don't know how else I'm going to do this except on the base. Lady Val says, I miss the kitchen. The stress is relaxing to me. I've been there. I have been there. I actually have a really cushy job right now, actually. Very cushy job. I'm a glorified lunch lady, believe it or not, for a detention center for juveniles. But I've got really, really good benefits, and the pay is actually not bad. The pay is actually pretty decent. All right, let's swap over to Hobby Cam 2, where I'm way too zoomed in on that weapon. Holy moly. Okay. It kind of works. Oh, it's the charging cable that's preventing you from staying up. Okay, fine. Then we'll just nick that out entirely. How about that? Oh, no. You're just not going to stay up. There we go. That's better. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Alrighty, let's see what we can't do here. I'm doing this at a very odd angle for me, so I apologize, everybody, if this is a little disorienting. It's not terrible. The oil paint's still a little on the wet side there. But that's not terrible. I'll just get that. Just kind of get that there. Kind of works. I'm gonna have to come at it from the bottom here, so my apologies, ladies and gentlemen, for the disorientation if my hand's in the way. There we go. It's not terrible. It's not bad, but it's getting there. Let's see here. Let's go back. It's actually a very smart choice for a career, Lady Valworth. I agree. It's really, really simple stuff. Very, really simple stuff. Then there's cookies and pizza if you love chaos. I worked at a pizza shop. I actually worked at a pizza shop for about 2 years. It was massive chaos, but it was really good. It ended up closing down because the owner did not know how to run a shop and ended up going out of business. Real Luke says, "Yo, Wizard, how you doing?" I'm doing great, Luke. Today, I'm having a fantastic day, all things considered. Today is my wife and I's 1-year anniversary. So I'm doing a little celebrating today by hanging out on stream and letting you guys decide what I'm doing. And everyone voted, or the 2 people who voted for painting today. So we're just going to do a little bit of painting today. Got some good amount of paint there. That is not half bad on the blue. Now, the one thing I am worried about is getting right in here for the tip, but that's okay. There we go. Okay, that's pretty solid, I think, for the first layer of blue. I had to do that by whipping that around, so I apologize, everybody. Okay, swap back to HobbyCam 1, because I've now got to clean my airbrush out. Okay. Lady Luke says, nice to hear nice to hear that happy anniversary. And Lady Val says, congrats on the anniversary. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. See, how's the Void Kitty doing? Void Kitty is chaos incarnate, but she's actually, you know what? Let me show you. I will show you, actually. Bear with me, everybody. I'm gonna have to pick up my phone for this one. So it's gonna be a little shaky, and I apologize in advance for that. But I think you'll appreciate this. So Void Kitty is doing really, really well. Ignore the mess on my desk, everybody. Curled up and sleeping. Hello, sweetheart. Hi. I had to move the PC. She kept trying to crawl on top of it from here. Hi, you rousing? Hi, sweetheart. No? Okay. You just want to sniff my hand? Okay, I'll pet you. She's like, leave me alone, Dad. I'm sleeping. I'm like, okay. I will leave you alone, my love. Let me just put you back, guys. There we go. She's doing wonderful. She's actually super, super healthy. We actually had a huge scare with her brother, which was just awful. But it ended up he's doing a lot better now. He's on a bunch of medication. We thought we're gonna lose him for a little bit there. My dad was truly just devastated, but we ended up getting with the vet. The vet gave us a bunch of medication, and it seems to be improving his health. So we're very happy about that. Stolas says, being married looks hard. Good job, man. Thank you. It's not been easy. There were times where my wife and I wanted to kill each other, I'm sure. I know I wanted to, but I also know she wanted to kill me many, many times. She said to put up with my antics. The truth is, they say the first year of marriage is the toughest. If you can get through the first year of marriage and you can get through the first year of childhood, or first year of marriage with a child, that you can get through anything as a couple. And honestly, I feel a lot better, which is awesome. It's the heat from the computer that the cat's like. Yes, but also it's turned into a game with her because she thinks it's hilarious that I pick her up and put her down, that she immediately turns around and tries to get back on top of it. And also, it's square. That's another problem. She is very adorable, though. We love her to death. But sometimes she makes me wish death would come upon her much more swiftly. I'm joking, but only slightly. I love that cat, though. I would die for that cat. I bottle fed that cat. Had her since she was like 4 days old. Aw, sad dad sounds extra wholesome. She is a hoot until she bites your nose at 3 a.m. to play with you. And wakes me up every stinking time. But dang it, does she like to cuddle when she's sleepy. But only when she's sleepy. Alright, we're just gonna get that cleaned off. Mrs. Wizard should start teaching him to turn off the computer soon. Well, no. Let's not put that idea out there, all right? The Dark Lady ink spill, she is enough of a handful than to be taught how to turn off my electronics. Because that's never going to stop. Her brother, Blinky, the only male from the litter we were able to save, because there was four cats in total, he has had a nasty, and I mean nasty, like stomach virus since we had it, and it's never fully left him. And my dad was so worried about him because he wouldn't make it to the litter box. He would just go wherever he was when he needed to go, and it drove my dad absolutely freaking nuts. And so he got to the point where and he would meow because he was in so much pain when he had to poop that my dad, when he heard the meow, would pick him up and run him to the litter box every single time. To the point now where even if he can go, and he can, in fact, go on his own, he doesn't need my dad's intervention, he will still go, he'll leave the litter box. Like, his food dish is not, like, right next to his litter box, but it's in the same room, within, like, 2 feet. He'll sprint from the room where he's eating, run to my dad on the other side of the house to howl in his face that he needs to go poop, so my dad will pick him up and sprint him to the litter box. Which is the funniest thing to me. So funny. Maybe shouldn't be as funny as it is, you know, that we're there, but he's got my dad trained. He cannot go to the bathroom unless my dad picks him up and takes him to the litter box, which is kind of cute. Kind of. Kittens and puppies are so fragile, it's sad. You know, you say that, and it is sad. It really breaks my heart whenever a puppy or cat dies unnecessarily. But I'm pretty sure, like, dogs are made of far more indestructible stuff than any other animal. Because I've seen a dog eat an entire trash bag filled with chocolate from Halloween candy and be perfectly fine. A little bit of diarrhea, but perfectly fine. Never lost his stride. I'm like, how did you do that? Jack Russells, man, they're built different. I assure you. Just gonna get that. Get that off there. For anyone concerned, no, I have not murdered a Smurf. This is just me trying to clean out my airbrush all the way. So there's no paint left in it, which is not going so well. Okay. Almost done there, everybody. Almost done. Dog sure. That's fair. We got Han, our puppy, at 6 weeks. We got him at 6 weeks old, so he didn't have that much of an issue. He's been pretty indestructible, but I think at 6 weeks you're pretty much in the clear anyway. So if you were going to have a problem, it was going to be much, much earlier than that. Okay. I think that's the last of the blue paint, for sure. But we're just going to run this soap water here real quick. Stolas says, I was watching a neuter thing once and parvo broke out. It's absolutely awful. That sounds terrible. My sister put down a dog not that long ago. It was a dog she rescued who actually had parvo and lived. But he ended up having autoimmune issues, to an internal bleed, and they couldn't save him, and they had to put him down. And he survived a surgery that the vet was like, there's a 1% chance this will help him. And we're really putting... And they went surgery. My sister opted for the surgery, I should say. My mom was not overly thrilled by the idea anyway about paying as much for a surgery that most likely would have failed. And that little sucker pulled through. I'm so glad. And then, unfortunately, 2 weeks later, his bleeding got worse, which was from the surgery. Weirdly enough, that was from the autoimmune. And they had to put him down. And it was so sad, because I've known that dog for like 8+ years of my life. He's a member of the family, and it was so sad. So sad when that happened. Really made me feel for my sister and all. Truly, truly is just an awful thing. I don't know why I took that off. You don't need to take the lid off. Okay. Maybe... What's going on with the headset? With this, but we're gonna go ahead and cut back to Hobby Cam 2 for the spray booth because it's time. I'm gonna do a little bit of glowing effect here. Now, I've never done this before, and I'm doing this at a really awkward angle, so I apologize in advance, but I'm gonna do my best to do this the right way here. Jesus, don't do that. Oh, shit. No sputtering, please. That's gonna drive me absolutely crazy. Well, I'll have to go over that. It's already dried. Oh, well. We gotta cherish pets while we can. That's, man, every pet I've ever had has always been a member of the family for me. Me and mine. My buddy Josh, you know, JD from Spruta Saga, he had to put a dog... Are we sure we don't need to thin this? I'm gonna thin this just to be safe. That is not doing what it should be doing. Yeah. No shit. This is not doing what it should be doing. Really? We're just gonna splatter like that? What the hell? What is happening? Ah, shit. I have a clog, everybody. That's not good. That's not good. Okay, well, shit. I'll have to take apart the airbrush. Fuck. I just poured that out, too. I'm gonna have to clean this all out again. Okay, well... That may be God telling me not to do airbrushing today. Son of a bitch. I don't think this is the ink my dad thought it was. I think this is just Pro Acryl Titanium White ink, paint, not ink. Alright, my cat is turning 12 and she's losing weight, and I absolutely hate it. Dude, I'm so sorry to hear that. I am really sorry to hear that. That is awful. That is not, it's just, son of a bitch. You undercut the thing I was going to be sad and sentimental with you about immediately. Usually, two clocks, one isn't very useful. Thank you. Thank you, Stolas. Thank you very much. You're a gentleman and a scholar, you son of a bitch. Yeah, that's fucking... That's gnarly. That is a gnarly clog. I can't even get anything to come through. This is the stuff you guys came to see. Me being an absolute idiot on stream. One who likes olives as well. Don't you start that shit, Luke. Don't you start that shit. Not again. Not again. Alright? I might be able to tolerate the Tau stuff, but not this. Alright, shit. Alright, I gotta get some more paper towels, everybody. Luna, if you're still there, entertain everybody for just a second.
Mic off. Mic on.
Okay, I'm back. Alright, sorry about that. I went ahead and just stole the whole roll of paper towels, so I shouldn't have to worry about that anymore. Thanks, man. I love my cat. I genuinely think she saved my life after a bad breakup. Dude, pets are amazing. Pets are amazing. I had a neighbor across the street who means well, and honestly, since this happened, she's, you know, never got an apology or anything, but she's actually a really sweet woman, and she's actually suffered a lot in her life, especially here recently. When I was younger, I had a dog that died, and she told me that dogs don't have souls, so they don't get to go to heaven. I was like, that doesn't sound right to me. You know, I never really got past that. I was like, people who think that animals don't have souls clearly don't know animals very well. Especially like dogs and cats and stuff, man. They've got such souls and personalities and whatnot. And I had my, you know, I was trying to say earlier, John had a dog he had to put down. He had bad epilepsy and had a seizure that he just never came back from, you know? Just a really devastating seizure. And Josh had to put him down, and he was just devastated and had this horrible, horrible thing happen to him. And it was truly like one of the worst things that he ever had to experience. And he had somebody in his life tell him, Lady Valor says, have a great rest of your day. I'll see you again. Of course, Lady Valor. I hope to see you again soon, too. Hopefully, I'll check. If you're streaming next, I will be available to watch you, because I enjoyed listening to you while you were building Gadriel. So, anyway, have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. I'll be live on Saturday if you're on. I work in the morning and early afternoon, but if you have any availability, if you're streaming in the evening or whatnot, I will be available for sure. God himself couldn't stop me. Well, I mean, I'm sure he could, but I don't know why he would. It's just a wild thing to say for no reason. Yeah, some people really don't think. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Well, if you think that's wild, and I know she meant well, you know, she's just a very staunch fundamentalist individual, and there was no malice in what she said. But there was, hi, honey. Sure, what do you got?
I found a used 2026 with 15,000 miles for 5,000 miles.
Okay.
In London.
Okay. Are we doing that tomorrow? I'm fine with that. It's your car. Okay, I think I finally cleared that clog. Finally, we'll see. Anyway, Josh had, as I was saying, had a coworker. He called in to work after his dog died. Just a truly devastating thing that happened. And he had a coworker that was just like, "Why would you do that? It's just a dog." I'm like, that's not okay. Like, yeah, it's just a dog, quote unquote. But like, dogs are like real members of families. Cats too, don't get me wrong, but like, there's no just an animal. It's your pet. You know, it's a member of your family. And like, if I had to choose between saving my dog and my kid, I wouldn't hesitate to save my kid, but I'd still be devastated either way. You know, like, it's not. It just really, really got under my skin when Josh told me that. I was like, you know what? You can't just say that. You can't just be like, yeah, it's just a dog. It's his pet. It's a member of your family, someone you've known for years. Like, sure, they're not human, but it doesn't make them any less important to you in your life, you know? Like, have some compassion. Some people just don't get it. Real Luke says, I remember when I used to know this cat when I was younger, whose name was Inky, and I remember a few years ago I saw her lying on my driveway. Remember that she was always nice to me and a very, very good cat. She was my neighbor's. I always play with her, but it was really sad because I was like 10 or 9 at that point for me to see that. That's truly awful. That really is awful. It's so sad. I don't get people who are like, it's just an animal. You know, that's not. Yeah, okay, you're not wrong in the technical sense, sure, but like, it's just a human. You know, it's just a human that dies. It's important to you, but you know, if your grandmother died, I wouldn't be like, why are you crying? It's just an old lady. That's your grandmother. You know, if that's your childhood dog, like, it really, like, when I put my dog Spike down, my childhood dog, he was 15, 16 years old, had a really good life, really long life. I was devastated. I couldn't do anything for like 3 days. I called into work. I was like, listen, I'm not gonna be able to make it in. I'm having to put my dog down, and I'm not doing okay. And it messed with me, and I would just randomly cry. Just randomly. Not doing just fine, and then out of nowhere, man, it would just hit me like a ton of bricks. And I was messed up for about 2 years. I waited 2 years before I ever got a dog because I didn't want to just replace the dog I had lost. I wanted to get a dog for the right reason, you know, and that just wasn't happening. You know, if I just turned around and replaced my dog Spike when he died, I wanted to wait till I was done grieving, and then 2 years later, I was approaching the end of culinary school. My ex, who I was dating at the time, she had a family that had a dog that had wandered onto their property. They were pretty sure she was a wolf at the time. Turns out she was a Siberian Husky. And she had just never left. She just stayed on their property. And they kind of built a fence around her, and she was perfectly content to be there. And she had a litter of puppies that no one knew where they came from. And I went and got one, and I knew, for me, that my dog Chewy, that I have now, I knew he was my dog because he played tug of war with me. And tug of war was my dog Spike's favorite game in the world. That was his favorite game, was tug of war. And so when Chewy played tug of war with me, I was like, I knew in that moment. I was like, you know what? That's my dog. And I broke down crying in front of a bunch of strangers. I was like, yep, this is my dog. This is Spike. And I got Chewy, and I have never looked back. I am so happy with Chewy. He's such a good dog. I love him to death. You know, at the time, I told everybody, I was like, I didn't understand the whole fur baby thing until I got Chewy, and I was like, oh, I get it now. You know, like, he is everything to me, and I will be devastated, and I mean devastated, when Chewy passes. I will be gone, a shell of a man on when Chewy finally kicks the bucket, because that is the best dog I've ever had in my life. Love that dog. It's nice to hear heartwarming statements like that, because... Oh, sorry. Let's see, stole this. Again, some They just say things sometimes to hear themselves talk. I can't for the life of me understand what you're trying to accomplish with statements like that. I agree. Yeah, exactly. The whole "it's just a dog" thing. People don't really know the joy of life and they don't know how to cherish it. Exactly. Look, animals are so pure. Like, what is happening here? Is my airbrush not wanting to cooperate with me? Okay, we just had to push out some blue? What the fuck? Where did the blue come from? I took this thing apart. Alright, that's better. Okay. We're going to swap back over to Hobby Cam 2, and we'll do some painting here. And then I'm going to let this finish drying and curing before I continue doing more layers. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. Not already. No, okay. Okay. Let that dry. I got a little bit of sputtering there. I'm not really sure what's happening here. I really don't want to continue doing that. I'm going to take the airbrush apart. I'm just going to properly deep clean it. I think part of the problem is I have too much soap concentration, which is fine.
Battery low.
Thank you, headset, for telling me battery low. Where would I be without you and your constant chiming? Okay. Here's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna take this off. The sadness that comes from with loss is reflection of all the joy and all the love they give you. It's totally worth it. You're not wrong, man. That's the thing. I truly wept. Like, broke down crying and bawling at 20-something years old when my dog Spike passed away. I mean, I had to put him down. He was old. He had a lot of arthritis in his joints. Just, you know, really wasn't doing very well. You have got to be kidding me. But it is so worth it. When I got Chewy again, I know I'm going to be a blubbering idiot, but I've always had a dog in the house. Always. I've never not had a dog. And I can't not ever not have a dog. You're fucking kidding me with this shit. I took the needle out, and we've got to... I hate this. I feel like you'll be much happier without the constant chiming in your ear. The problem is, my headset just doesn't hold battery like it used to. I need to get a new fucking headset, is what needs to happen. But it's expensive. And that's the problem. It's just expensive. But it's okay. Oh, now you fucking... Okay. What is happening here? There it goes. Have you been overcharging yet? He says in a condescending tone. That's funny. When my headphones start to die, it tells me a low battery every 2 minutes. Like, why? Just stop working. Well, the problem for me is, okay, I've let them charge overnight, my headphones, and I wasn't really supposed to do that. That's half my problem. The other half is I've had them for 2-3 years. So and they're really nice. They're Corsairs. They're really nice. They're wireless and they're really good quality. I usually charge them while I'm using them until it says charging complete. But here lately, I just haven't been on the PC very much. I don't charge them anymore unless I'm actively at the PC using them. So I kind of just let them sit for however long they need. That's half my issue. The other half is this goddamn fucking airbrush not cooperating with me. I've got a paint mess all over my new mat that I got today, but that's okay. It's exactly what this thing is for, so I'm not going to be mad about it. Alright. Get out of there and clean. Alright. Let's start using some soap water to clean off my brush. Okay, I think this is going to start working now. Let's get some more fucking paper towels. This is turning into a bit of a nightmare as far as cleaning this thing goes. Let's see. Hey, Wizard. When I get my own Porphy, do you want to see if we can have them duel in a Porphyrion versus Porphyrion match? I am in. You know, here's the thing, Luke. I've been waiting very patiently. See, my JD promised me that he would, in fact, build and paint his Mortarion and fight me with my Porphyrion. Now, mind you, he promised me this a long time ago, probably never expecting me to get a Porphyrion, and I have since bought him a Mortarion in that time, and he's had I've bought him a Mortarion, an Angron, a Magnus. His wife got him Fulgrim, and I love them both. Like, they're great. I love the fact that he's got all the Primarchs, but he hasn't built or painted any of them yet. I'm disappointed in him. I need him to be better. Take a Coke break here. This is quickly into a massive ordeal, and I don't know why. Why is my airbrush not cooperating today? I wanted to do some cool shit. So, oh well. I'll work on some painting. I'm gonna let that oil paint cure first, and then we'll go back to it. So it's probably gonna take a little bit for it to cure. That being said, though, why are we not clearing? I don't know what's going on in here. Is if there's paint in this nozzle that just will not relent, but I need it to fucking clear something. Alright, I need to clean off this needle, but before I do that, I need to get this in here. And just... What is the... I can't fucking do this. Why? Why is this not cleaning? I can picture what would happen between Mortarion versus Porphyrion. He just gets incinerated in seconds, just sniper shot off the map. Now, see, I've run a couple scenarios, and by I've asked AI. to run a few scenarios. And believe it or not, Mortarion probably by himself wouldn't be able to do it. It's not a fair point matchup either. That's part of the problem. Not that I think the Porphyrion is worth as many points as it is. I think it should be much cheaper, like 500 points, not 765 or whatever it is. But Mortarion could survive 2 rounds with the Porphyrion and damage it quite a bit. So don't discount Mortarion. Mortarion's a tough little cookie. He's also hard to take down, hyper resilient, and has enough of his own plague strategy, like plague aura, that it makes it really difficult to determine who actually would win that fight. But the Porphyrion, and like 9 out of 10s that I've run in terms of simulations with stratagems and simulated turns, averaging out the dice rolls, Porphyrion does win 9 out of 10 times. So, make that what you will. I'm just gonna run this through here. But yeah, that's a fun fact. Stolas, actually, since you're here and you're the main advocate for chaos in my community. Quick question for you, actually. Chaos Undivided or God Aligned Chaos? Or in general, anybody out there who's a chaos aficionado, because I know you're out there in my community hiding. Chaos Undivided or God Aligned. Okay, had to get that cleaned up. I think I will be clear for any clogs now. I better be. Holy shit, that was a stubborn clog. But I'm going to take that as a sign and let that chill first, so. Okay. Checking my arm here. It's still blowing pretty clean, which is good. I'm getting cold, which means it's letting some of that liquid through. Not a lot, which is good. Okay, let's get that cleaned out. Let's talk here building, because I'm going to take a break from this, because this, I need to let that cure anyway for my preceptor, and then I get to start working on paint schemes for my other night house. But for the time being, we're going to let that sit. We're going to let this chill. I'm going to gather up my trash, clean up my painting mess, which is plenty, I assure you. Let that relax. Put that down there. Okay. Let's discuss here building stuff. I am going to put a poll into the chat, actually, believe it or not. So let's do that. Let's start a poll here. Let's see. Let's see if that works there. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get started here. I'm going to do some building. While that's going as a poll, I will be right back. I will be running to get some cleaning supplies to wipe off my desk and stuff. So I will be right back, everybody. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. Luke, by the way, I did see your message here. Bye, Wizard. You'll probably read this later once you come back, but I hope you have a great day. Peace. You know what, Luke? If you go back and watch this later, just know I did see it when it came in. I was just a little busy at the time, but thank you very much. It means a lot to me. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for stopping by and saying hi. In fact, to everybody who stopped by and said hi today. Miri, Lady Valrat, Stolas, Luna, everybody who stopped by, was posting in the chat and giving good messages. I really appreciate it, guys. You guys are truly the lifeblood of this community, and I really do appreciate all of you. Now, since it's just me and one other person here, which is fine by me, let's look at the poll and see how it did. It looks like it's 100% for 40k, which is fine by me, with one vote. Well, I'm going to leave that up then for a little bit, just since it's just one vote. But let's go ahead and let's get talking about some of the new toys I've got. So I've already opened the box, unfortunately. So I do apologize. You don't get the joy of seeing me open a brand new box. But while I was on vacation, I did in fact receive a couple of deliveries here. Things I need to work on, I'm going to be working on stream. But the first one I got, which is actually really cool for me, is my Imperial Knight Codex. Now, I know it's a little outdated since we're going to 11th edition, but they did say codexes are backwards compatible, so at least until I get the 11th edition codex, this is what I've got to work with, and I'm actually very excited for this. So, Imperial Knight Codex is something I've really been looking through. It's really nice. Got a lot of great lore. I don't necessarily care about the lore. I am a little sad that over half of my army is not in this codex, which is unfortunate. But one of the other packages I received, which were 3 in total, was this little nugget right here, a Forge World package. I've showed this off on stream before, so anyone new out there who hasn't seen this, this is my Knight Atropos. I have a Knight Atropos, which I will be building on stream. Probably won't be doing this one today if I do building for 40k, mostly because it takes a lot of washing and there's a lot of grinding down to do. But it's not bad, and I'm really excited. I mean, it's a nice kit. One of the original Cerastus Knights, is the only Cerastus Knight still in resin, so it's a little bit of history here. So I'm actually really excited to get to working on this, but I can't do this one yet because I need to do my other one, which is my Cerastus Knight Lancer, which unfortunately I can't do the box reveal because I have already opened it. Sorry, guys. But I think it's still exciting. I've got my Knight Lancer up here. I am very much looking forward to getting into, which will be a blast. So this is the box for the Knight Lancer, which is probably what we'll be building today. I've been working on what kind of pose I want to put it in. Not the easiest thing in the world, by the way, to come up with. I'd like to try to come up with dynamic poses when I work on models. So I'm really kind of curious what I'm going to do with this, but I have a couple of ideas what I'm going to do. For the Knight Lancer, I've had this really cool idea. One of the things I absolutely despise about this kit, and it's just the shield. I think the Ion Shield Gauntlet is cool in theory. My only problem with it is it's just a little derpy, because it's just the frame here. Now, a couple of ideas I've had for the shield is that I can get some 3D print files. There's some 3D print files by Deadly Print Studios, I believe it is, that has inserts for this that actually gives it a proper shield effect. Which I think is kind of cool. They have one that's like a 3D projection dome that's like tanking a shot, which looks really cool. But they also have these little nodes in here. And one of the things that I've got that I will be using, and I'm actually very excited to give a try, is this very thin 30 gauge brass wire. Now, El Miniaturista on Instagram uses this kind of wire to create electrical arc effects that he paints with white oil paint, lets it cure for 24 hours, and then comes over it with a color, usually a fluorescent color, which I would do. And they have these little nodes in here. So I was thinking you could connect the nodes together with super glue and have these like electrical arcs of brass wire that are colored. And you kind of get the effect of it kind of looks like a proper shield. I think that would look sick. I don't know how well this fits just here. I don't know if it slots in where these are almost practically touching or if there's a bit of a gap. But if there is a gap, copper wire. I think that would look really, really cool. The other thing that I wanted to do is figure out how I wanted to stance it. And one of the things I was looking at was you've got, you know, this really cool, like, inverted pose. I think the instructions... Are they in the box? They're on top of another one. But the way the arm is constructed is that this protrudes out forward, right? There's like a... Well, actually, I could just show you. I don't have the instructions. Yeah, here they are. So, the instruction booklet shows the knight. There's a tiny picture there. You can't really see that here. Okay. So... I don't know how well this is shown up on camera, but there's an elbow that kind of arcs to the back, and then the arm extends out forward. There's really not a good angle here that I could show off, but yeah, there's no good angle in here. But basically, the way it stands is that it kind of juts out forward from an elbow that shoots forward like that, right? And if I inverted that, where the elbow is the other direction, I could have it standing where it's like in a Spartan pose with its spear stabbing into the ground. I think would look really, really cool. And I could do more electrical arc effects coming off of the tip of the spear that way. I think that would look really, really sick. Or the other way is, like, again, I say Spartan, but like the pose where the shield is in the front, guarding it, and then he's holding the spear up over the top of the shield, something kind of like this. I think that would look really cool as far as the model posing itself. It gives more dynamism for the Cerastus Lancer. So yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of two minds on that. Well, I think what I'll need to do is probably just get into it, get started, and see where it takes me. Okay, we're pretty much done on the ending of the votes here. For it looks like 40k is pretty much taking it, which is fine. I think it's great. I love to build the Lancer. It's one of the last two Cerastus Knights I have to build for my army to be complete, for Cerastus anyway. I'm only going to be complete once I own every single knight, and that's not going to happen for quite some time. The other thing is I also have, for the AOS side of things, just in case it entices anybody, I have the cog fort that I can build, which I'm actually really excited to get into. But like I said, I want this to be a special occasion where I could properly savor this, so I might just have its own live stream dedicated for this. The other option that I can do today, if I'm not going to do any the cog fort and 40k doesn't win out the vote, is I also have my City of Ash spearhead box. Which comes with Skaven and the Spearhead, and I think this would be a lot of fun. But, as I said, it looks like 100% of the vote, 2 votes currently for 40k. So, yeah, let's just go, let's just do 40k. I think 40k would be a fine way to start this off. And if we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and we're just going to get into the Night Lancer. Now, let's get into the Night Lancer. Let me just end the poll here. Grab my mouse. There we go. All right. If we're gonna get into the Night Lancer, let me just let's start with the shield arm. I kind of want to see what the shield do. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with that first. Then I think. Okay. Snip there. I love these nippers, by the way. These are really good. Really good quality nippers. I've paid way too much money for them twice because I had my nippers break on me once, which really pissed me off. But that's okay. There we go. Am I the only one that thinks that the shield by itself just looks really goofy? I mean, I like the Cerastus Night Lancer. Don't get me wrong. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot. Ah, there we go. Sorry, that was stupid of me. I shouldn't have tried to twirl it on my finger. That was dumb. All right, let's see here. I like the Lancer in concept. I was actually watching a YouTube channel relatively recently. I think it was Art of War that did a tier list for the Imperial Knights, which is anything Imperial Knight related. I'm gonna watch, which is why one of my new favorite channels, Obsessions, is Shagrot's Side Quests. A great little YouTube channel. I say little, far larger than I am. Far larger than I am. But he does Imperial Knights, and he's also a big fan of Emperor's Children / Slaaneshi Demons. I just great stuff. I love watching his Imperial Knight compilation. So he did a tournament list where someone else used his Knights army. It looked really cool. I really want to get into that. And the Lancer, going back to the Art of War thing, the Lancer videos are the ranking video. They actually ranked the Lancer at B tier for a Knight. There wasn't very many like strong Knight contenders. The only S tier Knight was the Knight Defender, which I do own. I'm very happy to say I own that. Of course, this is pre-Destrier, so I don't know if they want to, if they're going to do another one or not. I think it would be really cool if they did, especially with the whole 11th edition stuff that just came out, which it looks really interesting. But I have to say, putting the Lancer and the Castigator in B tier, I would have thought the Lancer would have been a lot higher. Most of the competitive lists that I've seen that include the Knight Lancer or most of the competitive Knight lists I've seen, have included the Knight Lancer. And it seems to be like one of the main takes that people want to take. I think the Knight Crusader was the only A tier model that they had. So like the only S tier was the Knight Defender. The only A tier model was the Knight Crusader. And like the guy one of the two guys on there, is like a big Imperial Knights player. Probably one of the best Imperial Knights players in the world. And he didn't rank most of them were in B tier Knights, which shocked me, to say the very least. And I didn't know that Chaos, if Luna's out there, hi Luna, I didn't know Chaos has more options for their armigers than Loyalists do. There's only 2 types of armigers for Loyalists. I thought the same thing was true for Chaos. Apparently no, it is not. So I didn't know we were getting the short end of the deal when it came to armigers. Of course, we have the Moirax, but it's not like the Moirax is all that good in terms of a competitive list. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I own a Porphyrion, and I want to take the Porphyrion to every tournament I go. And I'm not taking the Porphyrion because it's good. In fact, it's one of like the lowest ranked Knights on their tier list that they did, because it's so expensive in terms of points. But I just love that model so much. There is a Knight Lance I was looking at, though. A Lance composition, like a Knight's comp list that I was looking at, which would be all about speed, which I think would be very interesting to do. Because if you look at overall speed of a Knight Lance, like the overall Knights, the one that has the highest speed consistently, I'll say that, the highest speed consistently is the Knight Lancer. The Knight Lancer has the highest speed consistently. It's got a movement speed of 14 inches, which is incredibly fast for a Knight. The problem is the Destrier technically is faster. It's a D12 plus D3 movement in a specific phase. So it could get, on average, I think it's on average 14.5 inches, but anywhere from 14 to 15 inches. Which is which is good. It's very fast. It gets into your face very, very quickly. But the Lancer is more consistent about it. It will, every single turn, it will get 14 inches no matter what. So, why does this matter? Well, what if I made a list that involved the Knight Destrier, which has that variable movement speed of anywhere of 13 to 15 inches, right? Because it has a base 12 plus D3. As well as a Lancer, which is a movement speed of 14 inches per turn, per movement phase, excuse me, along with a Gallant for the melee comp, which has a movement of 12 inches, which is the fastest of the Questoris Knights. And then, on top of that, just did a bunch of Warglaive armatures. And just be as melee heavy focused as I possibly could. Just get in there, mess up the enemy, and get out. I think it could be a good list. I don't know. I think it'd be hard to win with, but it's Imperial Knights. It's not like Imperial Knights are out here winning tournaments or anything. We're pretty trash. We may be the worst army in the game. Because there was that brief period where we were just an index and we were dominating the meta and we were like consistently in the top, and then our codex came out, and as always we have been low, and that's okay, because I'm not doing this because I want to win. I'm doing this for the love of the game, and by the love of the game I mean the love of the medieval LARPing mechs. They're just a lot of fun. I really enjoy them. Who doesn't love a good medieval knight? Okay, so that's just that arm. Okay, so we're looking here for D22, D23, and then glue that to D24. Okay. Ah. 23. I know you're here somewhere. Oh, are you 23? Oh, okay. Okay. I'm just dumb. I'm just really stupid. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, I'm just really stupid. Got it. I thought this was D30, but I cut out the shield bit, and the shield bit was what was D30. Because why would I want to make anything else other than absolutely as difficult as possible for me? Tomorrow, I'm going to be working pretty much all day trying to record a video. One I've actually been struggling with to record, which is a channel update / thank you / celebration for hitting 200 subscribers, which has been way overdue, but it has been overdue. I think I finally have an avenue of approach I want to hit with it. It's talk about the future of the channel. I'm very excited to do. I bring that up because I had an idea years ago, which was I was watching a lot of people. I was getting back into the hobby. This is about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. This would have been, this would have been around 9th edition launching. I was really getting back into the hobby. I had been, grew up in Warhammer most of my life. My first real exposure to it was when I was 11 years old, which I've talked about ad nauseum, but in case you're new here, my dad took me to a local game store. I forget why. We were going to go buy a board game. I can't remember what board game it was, but we were going to go buy a board game. And it was for my grandparents. I can't remember why. And anyway, we get there, and first thing I notice, as I kind of wander around the store, it's a smaller store, and I notice in the back there's an older guy sitting there, and he is building and painting models. And I didn't know what they were at the time, but they fascinated me. I was just obsessed with whatever it was that he was working on. And of course, years later, I discovered it was they were Imperium of Man or Empire of Man models for Warhammer Fantasy. And ever since then, Warhammer Fantasy's always had spoken to me on some sort of spiritual level. I love the world of Warhammer Fantasy. Like, it feels like coming home for fantasy for me. I love it. I don't know what it is about it. Anyway, he was very kind and very patient and answered a lot of like annoying questions from a 10 or 11-year-old like autistic kid. You know, I ask him questions like, hey, what are these? What are you doing? Who are these guys? Like, what's their story? And he was building Empire of Man, and he had a friend of his who was building orcs, and I loved the models. And my dad, of course, after he finished checking out, because like I said, it was a small store. I was always within my dad's eyesight, so nothing weird happened. My dad came up, grabbed me, apologized, and the dude was like, "Oh no, it's cool. And he's a cute little kid, and you know, I don't mind talking to him." And it was really really nice guy, and it got me into Warhammer. I learned years later that it was Empire of Man, and I learned about what Warhammer Fantasy was, and I always wanted to collect models for it, and then. You know, middle school and high school happened, and I got into 40K because of a pastor friend, and built my first model, built and painted it. It was an Ultramarine, I am sad to say. And I loved it. I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the world of Warhammer 40K, and forgot why I went on this tirade. Anyway, I'm very excited to talk about in the video tomorrow. Talk about what Warhammer means to me, and like why I got into the hobby, and like who was there to help me, and all that stuff. I'm really excited to, really excited to talk about that. Oh, okay. I see how that goes. Okay, I see how that goes together. I love these older instructions where it's not entirely clear what it is you need to do. Anyway, I got into it. I really loved it, and I wanted to make my video tomorrow and kind of just talk with people about update for the channel and like what my focus is going to be moving forward. And anyway, so I got back. I wanted to get back into the hobby. I remember now. I wanted to get back into the hobby, and I started watching a bunch of people. And I'm sure a lot of people like me fell across the same content creators. You know, you had like Pete the War Gamer, Scott the Miniature Maniac, Ninjon, Eons of Battle, Squidmar, Torvari, and like all the usual suspects, Zumiko, and all these guys make really good, high quality painted miniatures. And I'm absolutely sure there is an element of like envy there. Like people see like, oh, these guys are really good painters. I'll never be able to paint as well as they can, and I'll never be able to make models that look as good as theirs, and like all of that kind of like imposter syndrome that kind of sets in. And I always thought it would be a really cool idea if there was a channel out there that was just dedicated to, I'm just a guy that wanted to wants to be a part of Warhammer. I'm not a great painter. I'm not a great builder. I make constant mistakes. I make constant mistakes. Mistakes that are stupid and easily foreseeable, and yet I still make them, and I do them live on camera all the time, especially in live streams. I've done it today. I did it with the Preceptor earlier today, where I, excuse me, where I clogged my airbrush multiple times. And I, give me 1 second here.
Mic off. Mic on.
Sorry about that. I had to mute my mic, so I apologize for the chime. I'm not near my keyboard, otherwise I would have just hit the mute button on my keyboard. But like, wouldn't it be great if there was people who were like me at that time, who were getting back into the hobby, who were seeing these really great painters, and then they turn around and saw just a dude who was getting into it, who'd watched a ton of videos but never actually put, or hadn't in a long time put paint to plastic, or hadn't glued models together, and then you just see this guy who's no better than you are, and watch him get better at painting, get better at building and kit bashing and all of these things at the same time as like you are. And I always thought that would be a really cool, really strong concept for a channel. And so, you know, that was my idea like years ago, and I never did it. And now I feel like I'm in an opportunity. I really, really like doing these live streams, hanging out with people, and showing off my building prowess, which is not great, by the way. I really kind of just suck. But show people that, like, hey, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can sit here and I can build a model and make it look somewhat not stupid, and also, you know, paint it and make it look okay, or I can do some stupid kit bashing that could actually ruin a model, because I've done a lot of surgery to plastic. If I can do it, you can do it. And I think that's just a really good message to put out there for people who want to get into the hobby who are just scared. Like, hey, I don't want to get into this hobby. It looks like a lot of fun, but I don't want to mess something up. Well, if I can do it and not mess something up, I know you can. You know, you're not stupid like I am. You're not an idiot who's doing very ill-advised, dumb things on the internet when it comes to his models. If I can do it, you can do it. And I just think it would just be really encouraging for a lot of new people who want to get into the hobby and are scared to see something like that, to encourage them. And I think that'd be great. I don't know. Hopefully that resonates with somebody out there. I hope it does. I think it'd be really cool. Alright. Trying to use this sprue goo here to kind of get rid of this natural seam in the plastic. It's kind of working. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I think it's kind of worked. I mean, you can still kind of see it. I'm going to let that dry, and then I can go back over it again with my plastic cement to really smooth out that texture. I do have a buffer I could use. I don't have a buffing sponge, but I do have a buffer I could use later on my Dremel tool, which I could put on really, really low setting. That could really take out any texture that's there. Okay. I'm going to try something also ill-advised and stupid, but we'll see. We'll see. Who knows? This could be the smartest idea I've ever had in my life. My sprue goo is really freaking thick. This is my old super cloudy Tamiya. Just put that in there. Give that a good shake. Of course, it's not going to fully incorporate. The top layer is going to be soupier than the bottom layer, but you know what? There's worse things. It'll all eventually settle. You can actually kind of see here in the corners, it's dried out. The plastic's completely dried and solidified there, away from the acetone. But that's all right. Okay. I'm just going to get that a nice pat down there. Brush off any excess. I've had this happen too many times where my sprue goo has been too thick. Just kind of brush out that seam a little bit with some very thin down plastic liquid. Okay. I think that's going to work, guys. I think... Oh, blob coming. I think that it's going to work. Okay, let's see. What's next on my instruction booklet? Let's find out. What do you say? So I've got part of the gauntlet there. The next part, now that I got both of those pieces put together, is to glue D27 and D27 together. and shove it into that gauntlet. I see. Plus D28. So D26 and D27. Let's do that first. It would help if my numbers weren't upside down. There we go. Give that a cut here. Give that a cut here. Alrighty. Hopefully, I can get with my dad here soon, and we'll actually get to... I need to check my email. Get with my dad here soon. Get our first episode of our podcast recorded. I've been doing some research on it. I thought it'd be really nice. I just need to get everything ready to go and talk with him. Okay. My dad's been reading the Angel Exterminatus book. He's been really liking it. I need to ask him about that, actually, when he has the moment, and talk to him about it, because I am very excited to see what his thoughts were. He's supposed to tell me when he finally gets to the part where Perturabo... he watches these streams sometimes. I'm going to be very careful here. When Perturabo introduces Fulgrim to his Warhound Titan. I am actually very excited to hear what my dad has to say about that. That might be the one scene that made me truly respect Perturabo. Because he is, in my opinion, the least likable Primarch. I know I'm in the minority there. I know a lot of people really like him. I just don't care for Perturabo that much as a character. Now, as a driving character, I should really caveat that as a driving character, because I like him as a character for what he serves. He's the likable a-hole guy. Which is great. We all need a likable a-hole, but I just can't stand him. He, to me, is not likable. But that scene got me real... Like, I was like, you know what, Perturabo? Maybe I judged you too harshly. Maybe. You know? But it's such a good scene. And it happens to Fulgrim. Well, not really Fulgrim. It happens to demon-possessed Fulgrim, which is just awesome. And I like Fulgrim pre-demon possession. I think Fulgrim's actually a really cool and often misunderstood character. But I've been told I have stupid taste when it comes to that. I've got a really bad take on that. So I don't know what to believe anymore, but I still think he's cool. And I will continue to believe so. What is that? Why are you not wanting to fit in here? Come on. Halo music. Underrated. Underrated. I know everyone loves the Halo soundtrack. What do you mean it's underrated? It deserves more praise than it gets. It is. Like, everyone says how good it is. You're right. And they don't say it enough. Okay, I think I got that in there correct. It's a little loosey-goosey. I don't love that. Yeah. Tab goes away from the gauntlet. So that is correct. That is how it is supposed to be built. Alright, let's do D28. So that we get to do the ion shield generator. Which looks suspiciously like a void shield generator, but what do I know? I'm just a nerd with way too much time on his hands. Alright, let's do this. Okay. One thing about circular objects that always drives me crazy is the sprue gates are just too unwieldy. It's hard to trim them away without straightening out any part of the rounded edge. I found a strategy that kind of works without digging into the plastic. But you require a very fresh knife. And I've cut myself too many times. Putting my head in the camera. Sorry, everybody. I cut myself too many times with a fresh blade to truly trust it. But it is so nice being able to do that without having to worry about deforming the edge any. And then there was one. Me and one other person. Well, I hope you're having a good time, whoever you are out there. Get my generator here trimmed properly. There we go. You know, fun fact. I say fact. It's a fun thought process here. I don't understand why the Lancer is the only one that gets a proper projector for its shield, where you can like hold it, and other knights don't. I feel like the Knight Gallant, or ooh, that would be really cool. An armiger, a third type of armiger that has a sword and a shield, like the Lancer, would be really nice. A pure melee-oriented armiger, like an armiger level power sword. That would be the way to go, I think. There we go. Okay. Got the void generator there. Now it's time to put the mounts for the shield, but I am curious. I'm just going to compare here. So there is a small gap. That's really small. I don't know if I'd be able to accurately make a piece of brass that could fit in that, but it would be cool if I could. That would be really cool if I could. We'll see. I'm not opposed to the concept. Alright, so it's what, pieces 29, I think it is? D29. Yeah, that is correct. These little nubbins right in here. Should be very careful. Okay. Now, is it the big pieces outwards? No. No. Okay. That's what I thought. Big pieces towards the gauntlet itself, and then the smaller pieces are what comes out to attach to the shield. Okay, so this piece will go in here, kind of like so. Okay, I can live with that. Got that. Now, just gonna really make sure. I know plastic cement is really good, but I'm gonna go around the edges of the base here and just make sure that I've got as much plastic on plastic contact as I possibly can for when this dries. Because I want to make sure, because it's a relatively small piece, I want to make sure that this isn't going to go anywhere. I've had scenarios before where I've had these smaller plastic pieces break off after I've glued them on. One, because of the lack of the amount of plastic glue. I needed to put more on for sure. But also, because of the contact area being so small, I needed more plastic on plastic contact. So, when it comes to these smaller pieces, that's my usual recommendation, because I've learned from that mistake, is to go around the base of it just a couple of times. What on earth? Okay. Get this in here, secure this piece. So this is pretty much the entirety of the gauntlet for the Knight Lancer. I have to get the fingers on there, obviously. But that's not that big of a deal. That'll actually go relatively quick. Okay, I see. And it goes in here into the top two parts there, and it just kind of slots in. Yeah? Okay. That is actually not half bad. Okay, cool. Alright, well then let's do that. Let's go ahead and glue this bad baby down. Try to get as much around the base of this nub here as I can. There we go. And that will slot into there. And the excess glue will act, well, like glue, and we'll smush out the sides a little bit and make sure that this contact stays nice and sturdy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the largest part of the gauntlet. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's get the fingers glued in. Alright, so judging from here, it's literally just slot in the knuckle section and then all the fingers. Now, the only problem I have is that the hand has the thumb directly in the center, which does kind of annoy me, only ever so slightly, because if I wanted to make a fist, I'd have to cut the thumb apart. But it's not the worst thing in the world. I think you can make it work if you were going to make a fist. Alright, so if we're going to do that, and I'm going to try to go... The problem is, do I go for the relaxed stance with the spear in the ground? I think that would look the coolest. And let you kind of like showcase the knight. I'm kind of torn on that one. I'm not really sure what the best approach is on that one. We'll see. We will see. This music is way too epic for what I am doing. I think I'm going to go for the relaxed stance. I think the spear in the ground will look really cool. Kind of like an intimidating stance. I think that'll be the best way to go about it. Oh, that's upside down, dummy. No wonder it's not fitting in there properly. Okay. So we'll glue that down. Now, what I love about Tamiya as a glue is that it's so, like, thin that if you put something down and you've got it into position, you can just overload your brush and tap the brush or the applicator just to the surface, and it'll flow everywhere you need it to. Luna, you have got a Knight Lancer recently? That's awesome. That's really awesome. I was going to ask you, I forgot to ask, are you when it comes to your knights, are they undivided or are they dedicated to a specific god? I was under the impression they're dedicated to Nurgle. Am I wrong on that assumption? Because if it's Nurgle, you and I are going to have a blast, I think. Because I've talked about my Night World, my custom Night World, quite a bit. And they have vendetta against knights that are bound to Nurgle. And I thought yours were. Which I think would be a really cool rivalry. It would depend on... so it is specific to the knight. So are you doing... is your Chaos Knight Army, is it just like a Dreadblade company? Just a collection of Chaos-aligned Freeblades? Come on now. There we go. These large gates here on some of these pieces. You can tell they're remnants of the old resin gates, because they're a little thicker than traditional plastic gates, but that's okay. The one thing about these amazing Cerastus Knights, and I love the Cerastus, I think of all the frames, I mean, obviously, I love my Castus Knight is my favorite knight, period. It's my favorite model, period. It's not even my favorite knight. My favorite model, period. Is my Acastus Knight Porphyria. But the Acastus frame is not my favorite frame of Knight. My favorite frame of Knight is the Cerastus Knight. People call me weird for that, and that's okay. I love the look of the Cerastus Knight. If I had to rate the different chassis, I'd say... let's see, we got Bellatus now. And Bellatus really kind of like complicates things because I haven't seen it in person, so I don't know how I would feel about the Bellatus class. But I'd say Cerastus, Questoris, then Acastus, then Dominus. I think Dominus, in terms of appearance, is my least favorite. I love my Castellan, don't get me wrong. It's the first knight I ever bought was a Castellan. But I didn't buy it for me. Well, actually, I did. Literally, I did. But it was my dad's favorite knight of the ones I showed him, and I bought it for him. I mean, my army, but the pilot I have is actually based off of him. The pilot of that Castellan is my dad, basically. I wonder what a Slanesh-aligned knight would look like. You quite like the Dominus pattern? And that's fair. See, the problem I have with the Dominus... let me explain myself. I'm not calling anyone out who likes the Dominus. The Dominus is fine. The problem is, like, of all of the knights, like, there's an aesthetic, right? There's, like, a design philosophy, right? The Questoris Knight, which was the first knight pattern that they designed, you know, for modeling and all, had, like, a very, like, angular yet rounded appearance, right? It looks sharp and rounded at the same time, right? It has a very specific design philosophy. And if you look at the Cerastus Knights, that philosophy is still there. All they did is elongate it and sharpen it more, right? So that's why it's got that taller, lankier look, but it still looks like it belongs to the same family as the Questoris Knights. The problem with the Dominus is it's too rounded. It's too bubbly, if that makes any sense. It's like the bubble letter of the Knights, right? It doesn't seem to fit the same design philosophy. It's like somebody copied the homework of the Questoris Knight, but only looking at the notes, not actually the answers that they come... and I put on it. And that's exactly what they did. Now, I still like and respect the Dominus, but and the Knights are my favorite army in 40k right now. Like, and they have been for quite some time. So, like, obviously, I'm not hating on them because I own a Dominus and I want the Knight Valiant. And in fact, I want another variant of the Dominus Knight. I want a third one. I think 2 is not enough. However, I will state that I stand by my statement. I think the Dominus of all of them is the weakest. But it is still the weakest of the coolest army. And the weakest of the coolest is still pretty freaking cool to me. So, take that what you will. Plus, the Chaos Dominus Knights do look pretty freaking sick, I have to be honest with you. I'll never own a Chaos Knight. As long as I live... Actually, that's not true. I really do want to own a Chaos Knight army. I think a Nurgle Chaos Knight army would be sick. But only because I'm going to do House Blisterborn if I do it. So... The Dominus is basically just 2 tanks put together and given legs. You're not wrong. I mean, if a Bane Blade was given legs and could walk, it would be a Dominus Knight. It would be a Castellan. Okay, Luna, here's an interesting question for you. What is your second favorite model? Everyone knows what their first favorite model is. What's your second favorite model that GW's ever made? Ah, Final, there he is. Listen, Final, I have big news. Today we are celebrating something wonderful, and I have to leave in a few minutes because of it, but you're going to appreciate this. Today is my 1-year anniversary with my wife. 1 year ago today, I married my wife. I'm very excited. That's actually what we're celebrating. Already, yes, yeah. A year ago today, I married my wife. Final is finally here. Luna, stop it. You can't be that funny, okay? Otherwise, you're going to have to start hosting the streams. All right? And I'm a little self-conscious over my channel. Thank you very much. Honey, everyone wishes us a happy anniversary. I've told them I have to leave. Final finally made it, by the way, just now, and I have to leave in a few minutes. We're about to get ready to go. I need you to get ready to go.
Right now?
Yeah, no, I'm legit serious. We're going to feed the dogs and then and the animals, and then we're going to go. All right, well, we can buy a card tomorrow. We can't. You owe me tonight.
I know.
Okay. Congrats. I thought you were celebrating something else. It is a year ago today I married my wife. That is the thing that's here. My dad just joined the channel, but in the wrong server, that son of a bitch. I was hanging out in Discord earlier, but someone went AFK. I had lunch with my granddad. I'm sorry. I didn't know. I should have left and then hopped on the phone or something. I had lunch with my grandparents. My mom wanted me to grab food for everybody. My uncle's in town from Florida and helping my granddad build and paint part of their bedroom. So I was trying to be a good grandson. Okay? Forgive me. I kind of like the fist doesn't look as goofy as I feared it was going to look if I the thumb looks a little goofy. I ain't gonna lie. But, as a fist, that doesn't look half bad. That's nice. I like that. Okay, let's see. What else do I need here? We're gonna... A couple more minutes. I need to finish up this arm. A31 glued together. A32's glued together. And A34's glued together. I don't have any of that sprue out. I just have the Thunder Gauntlet. No worries, I wasn't on too long. I had to run for a meeting and it ran forever. I'm so sorry, brother man. Who's texting me? Oh, okay, I have to fill out paper. I have to get neutered tomorrow. Little sucker deserves it. my wife would like everyone to know she decided it was time. So I think this looks pretty good. By the way, everybody, Luna, Final, everybody, what do we think of the black mat on the desk? I think it really does help out quite a bit with the glare from the lamps. You guys think so? Anyone disagree with me here? I think it really does help quite a bit. What do you think, babe?
Looks great.
You don't care?
I think it looks great.
Oh, okay. Okay. Let's see.
What do I need to wear?
I'm putting on a nice shirt for you. You don't have to wear anything that you don't want to. I'm not telling you you need to dress up, but I'm putting on a nice shirt for you. And if I didn't tell you that beforehand, you'd have been mad at me. And you know you would have. All right. Gauntlet here's good. I don't know that I have enough time to really do anything else. Where'd you get it? You need to get one too. A nice shirt or the mat? Honestly, brother, Amazon. Amazon was super nice. This was like 20 bucks. So it's super, super nice. I've already got some oil paint on it and some plastic and stuff. It's not going to survive the hobby, but it was really, really nice. It's cheap. You did some jet washing earlier? I don't know what that means, but that sounds cool. You said the word jet, and as a dumb teenage boy trapped inside a 32-year-old's body, you have my attention. All right, let's get this vacuumed up real quick. All right, well, since you're here, finally, haha, I was going to show some stuff off real quick. So that's not what I'm showing off. I'm just moving my Castellan out of the way. I only started it. I'm not done yet. I've got to let it cure the oil paint underneath first. But I've begun object source lighting here for the Knight Preceptor, and I think it's looking really good. I'm just going to finish the glowing effect along this. I'm going to build up some layers of color. The next paint I will be using is actually to really ramp up the glow. I'm actually going to be using my Fluorescent Blue by Vallejo, which I'm very excited for. Fun fact, fluorescent paints, you'll never be able to copy fluorescent paint color without a fluorescent. And what is fluorescent paint, you ask? Well, I'm so glad you asked. You want to hear the cool scientific fact about fluorescents? Fluorescents work like this. There's a large portion of the light spectrum that the human eye cannot see. Let's see. Okay. It's basically using water jet to clean surfaces. Oh, okay. So power. Okay. I call it power washing. That's just, I don't know if that's an American Southern thing or not. So I've got these fluorescent paints. Now what it does, fluorescence is actually really cool. There's a large portion of the light spectrum that the human eye cannot see. And what this does is it actually traps UV light, a little bit of UV light, in with the paint and helps bring it into a visual spectrum. So not only is it just blue paint, but it also is capturing light the human eye cannot normally see, which makes it look brighter. That's what makes it fluorescent paint. So what I've done here on the Preceptor, which I'm actually really proud of, I've done another layer of oil whitewash paint. I've brushed over it with a darker blue and then gone back over it with some of this Pro Acryl Titanium Bold White paint. Now, you can still see some of the blue left over, which is what I wanted. Of course, it had a little bit of splattering I'm going to have to go back and fix, but that's okay. And from there, I'm going to layer on a layer of the fluorescent paint over the top of the titanium white spill, go back over it again with the oil white paint in between the coils, one last layer of a thinner version of the fluorescent blue paint that I'm just going to brush on almost like a glaze, and then I'm going to dry brush a little bit of dark blue over the tips of the coils, and then lastly just a little bit of black, just a very faint layer here, and it will have that really nice radiating glowing blue effect. I'm also going for the same thing here on the tip of the nozzle. I'm just gonna have to touch it back up with a little bit of lead belcher here on the tip, but I think even already I think that's looking pretty solid. I'm going to go back in and touch up, like I said, some of the areas where it splattered more than it should have, of course. And then I'm going to go back through and paint the wires and go back through and paint all the hoses, get the painted. yet, but I think it's coming along really, really good. I just need to stay at it, and then soon the Knight Preceptor will be finished, and I'm actually very excited for that fact. So there you go. Knight Preceptor is coming along quite nicely. The pink's not staying for anyone who's new. I'm going to be going over that with yellow at some point, but really, really nice stuff. Really, really nice stuff. Luna says, it might be a difference between America and the UK. You're not wrong. It might be a difference of that, but also, like, the North versus the South versus the Northwest versus the Southeast. There's just, which version of America are we dealing with? But, yeah. I'm really trying out the OSL stuff, by the way, with the Las Cutter, because I really do want to go through with the Plasma Decimator and do the same thing on the Plasma Decimator here, and then same thing with the power cells here on the side. I think it'll look really, really good on this. But yeah, I'm really excited. The Preceptor's coming along really, really nicely. And then once the Preceptor's done, I have to work on the Knight Errant. The longer your script takes, the better your painting gets. Well, fun fact, I told everybody I'm going to be spending most of the day tomorrow actually working on my on a video. I finally think I have a way I'm going to approach it, and it's going to be a shorter video, but I have a direction I want to go in finally. The one thing I'm really worried about is doing the electrical arcings with the 30 gauge wire here on the shield. I've not messed with this 30 gauge wire, and these are really small connection points, so I'm going to use the Preceptor as the guinea pig for that, because I want the electrical arcs on the Thunder Gauntlet, like shocking parts of the arm, to really draw the eye towards the hand more on the model. I think it'll look really cool that way. So that means you're finishing up a night tomorrow? That's funny. Oh, I do need to do building and painting tomorrow. Oh, are we putting Void Kitten on stream? Well, that's YouTube. Here, let me pull. Here, just sit her down. Just sit her down. Let her explore. Let her explore. She's a sweet kitty. She doesn't mess around too much with it. All right. All right, well, unfortunately, I do need to... Was she attacking the wire? It's fine. I'm going to put it away where she can't get to it. All right, I've got to get ready to go, boys. I've got a date night with my wife tonight for our 1-year anniversary, which I'm very excited for. And then she, unfortunately, has promised to build models with me tonight, so I'm kidnapping her as well. Sucks when you don't drive your car, doesn't it? Alrighty. Everybody, I will catch you all later. Thank you so much for swinging by today. I greatly appreciate it. If you guys have enjoyed anything that you've seen, please feel free to leave a like on the stream. It does help out quite a bit. If you haven't enjoyed what you've seen today, I greatly appreciate you watching as long as you have anyway. It means a lot to me, and I'll catch you guys later. Ta-ta!